Hello, Hamid.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How
Okay.
are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. And yesterday, were you able to work out on that sample?
Yes.
Was it working with you?
Yes.
Yes, sir. With me, the problem was the angular brace in the XML file was deleted for
Yeah.
some reason. There
Yes.
is an XML file, right?
Yeah.
So, my example is, yes.
Employee HPM.
So, the problem was, right. So, with me, the problem was, the thing is this angular brace is there, right, in the employee HPM XML file.
Yes.
This one, this angular brace.
Yeah.
It was
Mm.
deleted for some reason. That
Yes.
is why this file was unable to read by the JVM.
Yes. Mm.
And later on, I identified immediately after that. When I was working with the second session, I thought of
Mm.
having a glance on it, and I identified that this brace was missing, angular brace.
Yes. Yeah.
Fine. Yes. Yes. Let me execute this. I'm running this.
Yeah.
You can see object save,
For
and
safe.
for you, the Hibernate is showing you an insert statement
Yes.
to save that object. So insert into employee the first name, last name, and ID, and you can see values some question
Yes.
mark. So this insert statement is resulting because we mentioned this property. Look there,
Oh.
property
Oh.
name show underscore SQL we set to true, right?
Yes.
So this is printing all the SQL statements onto the std out. You can see here echo all executed SQL statements to std out. Std out is the console class,
Yeah.
and if you observe, so here this is our Hibernate config XML file. So let me open the document. Yes, Hibernate we are dealing the model class to be persisted as a database object. In this,
Yes.
these configurations are
Mm.
done in XML file, and the file name is Hibernate CFG XML file. Okay.
Yes.
In
Yes.
this, so there is a Hibernate configuration opening tag and closing tag.
Yes.
Then session factory, open tag, close tag.
Close tag. Yeah.
Then the property names you can see driver, URL, username, password.
Yes.
And let this connection pool size be 1, and we are not disturbing this. And here you can see I am using MySQL dialect,
Yes.
so I am connecting my Java client with a Hibernate, that is MySQL database. So I mentioned the dialect here. And this
Yes.
also let the second level cache also let it be the same. We shall discuss in our upcoming sessions.
Yes.
And you can see the property name HPMDD2. So DDL
Yes.
dot auto is set to create as of now. Let it be create. What happens with this is it will create the database schema. It will drop and recreate a fresh schema for us.
Okay.
Then so mapping resource. So
Mm-hmm.
in my configuration file, I am saying that the model class has a mapping XML file, and that XML file is nothing but this one,
Yeah.
employee.htm XML file.
Yes.
So this Hibernate mapping XML file we say, this one, this one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is written on the basis of our model class. So
Yes.
our model class is employee.
Mm-hmm.
So this model class has three properties and
Yes.
set and getters.
Yeah.
And to this corresponding Hibernate mapping file, how we write is the same model class name dot HBM dot XML file is the convention. Okay,
Yes.
and here you can see the Hibernate mapping open tag and close tag.
Yes.
Then I am saying that there is a class.
Yes.
So my
Yes.
model class is this one, class name.
Employee. Yeah.
And I am saying that there is an ID for that. So if you
Yeah.
observe, ID is nothing but, so let me show you, the table name is employee, right? So
Yes.
table name is employee. So I'll write select start from
Select from employee.
employee. And you can see here
Yeah.
the first name, last name, and the ID 100. So
Yes.
here you can see in my Hibernate test client, I created one object with these data, right?
Right.
100 first name, last name. This was inserted successfully, right?
Right.
Now, so let me take this. Yes, and I'll describe the employee table.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see ID is having a numeric data type, and you can
Yes.
see it is marked as a primary key after
Primary.
creating the employee table.
Mm-hmm.
So who is telling Hibernate to mark this as primary key is in my XML file, that is employee.hpm XML file. I
Yeah.
am saying that the column, so
Mm-hmm.
ID is a primary key. So there is a tag that talks about a primary key in a table that is created. We will say that using ID tag, ID open tag, close tag. Okay.
Okay.
In that name, we will give the column name, that is
Yeah.
nothing but our model class property ID.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And the generator. So generator is a tag which talks about the values that will be assigned to the primary key.
Yeah.
And here you can see the class equals to assigned.
Yes.
Okay, I gave some value here assigned, where I am going to assign that values. Okay,
Okay.
so we can also say Hibernate to generate that primary key values. We will see that in our examples soon.
Okay.
And we can see next properties, the normal properties that are available with the model class.
Yes.
Property name equals to first name, and the next property name is last name.
Last name.
Okay,
Yes.
and if you observe in our table that is generated by Hibernate, the field name is ID, that is
Ye-
equivalent to the property present in the model class ID.
Yes.
Likewise, the field names are first name, last name, which
Yeah.
are similar to the model class properties first name, last name.
Last name. Yes.
Here, these things.
Yes.
And our class name, and our table name is identical
And
to the model class.
yes.
So by default, the Hibernate will create a table that is identical to our model class, and it will
Yeah.
create columns present in the employee table, I mean to say in the
Yeah.
table similar to the properties that are present in the model class.
Yes.
And how we persisted this is by creating a configuration object, and we
Yeah.
are importing this configuration object from r.hibernate config.configuration. Once
Yes.
we obtain the configuration object, then we are invoking a method configure by passing Hibernate CFG XML file. So
Yes.
when you execute this, JVM will read the Hibernate config XML file, and it will create the configuration object with that ready.
Yes.
Then from that config object, we obtained a session factory. So
And
these are
factory.
common steps.
Yes.
So how we obtain a session factory? By calling build session factory method.
Yes.
And this session factory is present in Hibernate r.hibernate session factory.
Yes.
And the session factory would be only one for the whole application.
Okay.
And from session factory, we will obtain one session. So by using open session method on it, and we got a
Okay.
session, and this session is r.hibernate session hub.
Vision. Yes.
So from this session, we can obtain transaction. So
Mm-hmm.
begin transaction, I see, and it will do the transaction. And this transaction is from r.hibernate transaction.
Okay.
And from this in this transaction, I'll begin the transaction. Now I am creating an employee object
Yes.
in Java way, and I am saving that object using session.save.
Yes.
Then I am going to commit that transaction.commit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see I have closed the session.close. And I just mentioned employee saved object, system.out.message, and you can see it is displaying employee object saved.
Yes.
So this is what has happened, and I believe it's clear completely to you.
Okay.
And both of you did execute the sample at your end.
Yes.
Good, fine then.
Yes.
Uh, Just give me a moment.
Okay.
I'm dropping a mail for my next session.
Okay.
Just hold on.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, I'll close all these things. Um, yes. So we'll perform a sample, the same, persisting the object using annotation. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Hibernate application can be created with annotation also.
Okay.
And there are many annotations that can be used to create Hibernate applications such as entity, ID, table. So these are the annotations we are using.
Okay.
Entity is nothing but the model class.
Oh,
ID is nothing but the primary key which we just saw as a generator class, right?
yes,
In
yeah.
our employee.hpm XML file.
Yes.
And table is we can give the table name. Previously, we didn't give any table name, and it was
Yeah.
defaulting to the model class name.
Yes.
So we also can have control on it. Then
Okay.
Hibernate annotations are used based upon JPA2 specification, and it supports all the features that are available in JPA, Java Persistent API, we say.
Okay.
All JPA annotations are defined in Java X persistence package, this one.
Okay.
And Hibernate Entity Manager implement the interfaces and life cycles defined by the JPA specification. So Hibernate has Entity Manager. This would be implementing the interfaces that are defined in Java X persistent API.
Okay.
And the core advantage of using Hibernate annotation is that you don't need to create mapping file here. That is the advantage.
Mm,
So with the help of annotations, you can avoid creating that employee.hbm.xml file. Got
okay.
it?
Got it.
The same thing we can declare through annotations.
Mm,
So the Hibernate annotations are used to provide that metadata information.
mm,
And how to create that? So here we need to have some additional jar files. Hibernate commons annotation.jar file, EJB3
okay.
persistent jar file, and Hibernate annotations jar file. These
Mm,
three jar files we need to have in addition to yesterday's jar files. Okay,
okay. Okay.
you need to download them. You
Mm,
just search for Hibernate common annotations jar file, and you can get that. So I'll show you one search.
okay.
You can see Hibernate commons annotation jar file, and you
Mm,
can get it from Java 2S website.
okay.
Okay, the website
Okay.
name also,
Yeah.
and it will show you the first link. Open it, and here you can download this one. Okay,
Yes.
and it will download a zip file. So you can see a zip file.
Yeah.
All right.
All
So
right.
I already downloaded, and I
Okay.
added it to my library. So
Oh,
these three files you need to download. Okay,
okay.
and those three files I already downloaded and added into my
Library. Mm-hmm.
library. That is, what library is properties, build path, and add
Uh,
library, user library. I have this Hibernate, right? I told you I created it somewhere
yeah.
long ago. This
Yes.
has that. This has that. I can show you that.
Mm,
Expand it. So you can see Hibernate annotations. This one.
okay.
Hibernate commons annotations.
Okay.
And these two are more enough for us. That EJB3 persistence, either you can add or you can ignore, but
Okay.
still our program runs because
Um,
we are working with Hibernate, so these two will do enough
okay.
among these three. Okay,
Okay.
I deliberately skipped this EJB3 persistent jar file. just to cross check that as we are working with Hibernate, these two will do enough. So I just skipped it. Okay. And I
Okay.
worked out a sample also, it was working. Along with that, we need MySQL connector, right?
Right.
So you can see I have a MySQL connector also added here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Now let me create a new Java project.
Project. Yeah.
So I say HB demo 2. Okay.
Yes.
Next, finish. In my HB demo 2, I add the library to my new
Library.
project.
Yes.
Add library,
Library.
user library. I'll use my library which I created. Okay.
Yes.
And I'll delete that HB3 library which I created for you yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Remove.
So why to put that duplicate libraries over there? So I deleted. Okay.
Okay.
And finish. And you can see Hibernate library.
Mm-hmm.
Press OK. And okay. I deleted it, and
It's you.
in my previous sample, I used the that library, and it is not
Yeah.
available.
Yes.
So I'll add that library to avoid the errors. Okay.
Yes.
So my previous project I added, and
Yes.
in my package explorer there are nothing errors. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I added the Hibernate reference library to my HB demo 2.
Two. Yeah.
And in my source, I am making use of the same thing. Okay. Copy
Okay.
and paste. And in my source, I need the Hibernate CFG XML file. This is the
Okay.
configuration file. We need it for sure. Mandatory
Yeah.
file it is.
Yes.
And you can observe I'm directly pasting in source, not in the
Yeah.
package.
Yeah.
And here, let me close all and let me work with our files so that there will not be any
Oh,
confusion with the files that were opened from previous project.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And mapping resource. So this thing, we don't have this, right? We
Right.
don't have this. So I'm removing this.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
there is a mapping class now, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mapping class is nothing but com dot
Rest
hibernate
the
demos employee. This is my class. Previously it was a resource, separate XML file. I was referring
uh,
to that XML file. Okay.
yeah. Yes.
Now it's my class directly. So I just mentioned name, and that is mapping class. Okay.
Okay.
This is the change I mentioned in my Hibernate config XML.
Yeah.
And the thing is, okay, nothing changes I made to my Hibernate config XML file. I am using all those things that were present in our previous Hibernate config XML file. Okay.
Okay.
Then yes, one thing I have to highlight with my previous sample. Yes. I'll just go back to my previous sample.
Okay.
My Hibernate client. Hibernate client. I am work. This is my previous sample ID. So previous sample Hibernate client.
In the
Yes,
package.
HP. This one. Okay. Here
Okay.
I created an object. Now
Yes.
suppose all right, I created this object. Now I'll create an ID 200 and I say first name with this 200 and last name with this 200. Okay,
Okay.
so this I have done and now I am executing. Okay,
Okay.
and I am executing my previous sample. And you can see object is saved, and let me show you. I executed it previously. So here let me select star from employee. Observe that
Oh,
my previous row is not available,
yeah. Yes.
and the new row whatever I inserted is now available.
Okay.
So the thing is, in our Hibernate config XML file in HBDemo1, I said this HBM2DDL to create,
Okay.
and
Oh,
this is what it is doing is it is dropping and recreating the data schema on the startup
yeah.
of the program.
Yeah.
So it is dropping the table and recreating, and so when I executed, the previous data is not available. Got it?
Got it.
So I can make it to update. Okay,
Oh, okay.
and I'll back to my Hibernate client and I'll give a data here 300, and here also first name 300 and last name 300. Okay,
Okay.
now I'm executing this, and you can see insert statement is executed and object saved, and I am
Yes.
going back to employee table, and this time you can see
Yes.
300,
Yes.
and if I say 400, you can observe 400, right, 400, and I am executing this. Again, an insert statement is executed, an object is saved, and I re-execute this, and you can see my data is being inserted. It
Yeah.
means, so what is happening is with update, it will check the a model class object. Are there any changes to model class object? Yes, yes. Then it will update the existing table object with that new entry. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I thought of highlighting, and I'm done with that, and I'm closing this, and my Hibernate configuration also I'll close so that there will not be any confusion with the,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, I closed my HP demo tools, and I closed this HP demo once, but I'm closed because we are using the same file names. So sometimes
Yeah.
when I open the previous projects, it, by chance I will be using the previous one when working with the current one. So I minimize this, and I am going to employee model class, Now we are working with annotations. So I'll write here working with annotations.
Annotations. Okay.
Then so these things will be the same. And the thing is, one thing to be highlighted is the employee.hbm XML file is not necessary. So I did not create it.
Yes.
And the change I made is in my configuration file, the resource, the
Yeah.
mapping resource it was. Instead, I said mapping class.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Java Hibernate demos. Right, the class name with package name is correct.
Yeah.
I am getting here and I am saying @ entity. My class is an entity, I say.
Mm-hmm.
And import this from Java X persistence.
Okay.
So our class will now act as an entity, and this entity will tell the Hibernate that this employee class is an entity, and Hibernate has to create a table for this. So
Yes.
here we can say the table name here. We can say the table name. So the table name. So you can see name, and I am giving the table name over there.
Mm-hmm.
Employee 100 I give. Okay,
Okay.
and I'll say my ID, the primary key. The primary key is my ID. So we will mention that with an annotation ID, and you have to import that from Java persistence. Okay,
Okay.
now I am done with this, and I will execute my Hibernate test client. Okay,
Okay.
and I am executing this, and you can see we are inserting the employee information
Yeah.
ID 100, first name, last name. Okay,
Okay.
and you can see insert statement executed, and observe there the insert statement table name is employee 100 now,
100. Yeah.
and I will perform a select statement on employee 100 now. You can see a row is inserted.
Okay. Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
so I marked my class as an entity, my
Yes.
model class as an entity, and I gave a name. So entity annotation has an attribute name which will take the value for the table name.
Mhm. Yes.
And I marked my ID as a primary key, and you can see in my employee 100, if I describe this, so I just copy paste this for our reference, and I describe the employee 100.
100.
You can see ID is primary key,
Yes.
and if you observe
Mm.
the ID which is integer in our model class is converting to data type integer in the database,
Yes.
and the first name last name are converting into varchar. They are strings actually in our model class,
Yes.
and if you observe over there the size of varchar is 255 and the size of integer is 11. By
Mhm.
default it is giving the size,
Yeah.
and I can give the name for a column also. So before that, let me do something with an annotation called @table. So I have an annotation @table, and it is from Java X persistence, and this also has an attribute name. Okay,
Okay.
so name, and this time I am using this. I made the entity blank. Okay,
Okay.
and I give the name employee 200 just to cross check whether
Yes.
this table is created or not. Okay,
Okay.
then I'll execute this. I have to execute my Hibernate test client, and I'm executing this. Yes, insert
Yeah.
operation, and you can see employee 200,
Yes.
and if you get into here, if I say employee 200, so describe description, and if I say sorry, select star,
From employee 200.
yes, got it,
Yeah. Yes. Got it.
fine. Now with my employee, so we are able to give the name of the table, generated table by Hibernate, with the
Yeah.
help of entity annotation as well as table annotation.
Yes.
So first of all, what is the necessity of giving the table names, custom names? When Hibernate is defaulting the model class with
Yeah.
the table names.
The table names. Yeah.
So the reason is, suppose I have an user object in my Hibernate model class. I mean in our application, user.
Yes.
So what user I have. So user object is valid in our model class. I mean to say user class is valid in model class, right?
Right.
And when we allow this, Hibernate will default to create an user table in database, right?
Right.
So in database, if you go, user may be a restricted keyword over there. So user may
Yes.
be a system table.
Yeah.
So some databases would be using user as a uh, system table, right?
Right.
So during that time, you cannot use the system table names for your tables, right?
Yes.
So when you go to database, there may be a limitation with the table name over there, right?
Right.
So usually the databases will use the user as table name.
Right.
So that is why it is better to have a custom name for our model classes so that
Okay.
we can give a new name for the tables,
Oh, yes.
because we don't have any restriction when we are in Java, because user is a valid class.
Yes.
Java does not have any limitation to give a class name as user,
Mhm. Yeah.
but we may be having a limitation with the database.
Yes.
That is why
Mm.
we should have a provision to give a name for our model classes
Yeah.
tables,
Yes.
right? And that we could do with entity as well as table, right?
Right.
So what the difference between this and this is, the thing is, Whenever I say entity, so let me show you. Yes. Yes. So this entity is providing a new name for the entity itself. I mean to say, when I say entity in our entity, so
Okay.
here our model class we generally call it as an entity.
Yes.
And if we are not mentioning any table name, custom table name, the model class itself is given as a table name, right?
Right.
So with the model class and name attribute, you are saying that the table name for our model class would be uh, this employee. So I like this. Yes, with this what you are saying is my entity name itself you are changing to employee 200. Got it?
Got it.
So it looks like I'm sorry, it is employee, right? For example.
Employee. Yeah.
So our model class name is employee. You are
Mm.
changing it to employee 200 here. Entity itself you are naming.
Oh,
Got it?
got it. Yeah.
Of course, Hibernate can take that entity name and create the table with the employee
Yeah.
200, right?
Yeah.
In that case, your model class name is changed to employee 200 over there because
Oh,
entity name, right?
yes. Yeah. Mm.
So this would be affecting your model class name.
Yes.
Okay. When you go
Okay.
to table type of annotation and you are giving specifically a name to your table, not to your model class. In
Yes.
that
Yes.
case, your model class remains employee, right?
Right.
So that is the difference using entity and table annotation. So
Mhm.
if you change the model class name, maybe in our upcoming sessions we will be talking about Hibernate query language (HQL),
Okay.
which is database independent language (SQL).
Okay.
So over there, the HQL will be using the model classes over there to write the queries.
Okay.
So your model class is employee, and if you change it to some other, then your HQL Hibernate query language will not be able to identify it.
Okay.
So that is the reason. So we go for table annotation. Okay, got it?
Got it.
This is one of the important interview questions they may ask you.
Mm.
Okay, the same explanation I have put here. So
Okay.
table annotation is providing a name for the table alone, while the
Mm.
entity remains the same.
Okay.
So when working with HQL, we only use entities, not the tables.
Mm.
If you want to keep the entity name as it is and only table name alone to be different, then use
Mm.
so these two things in
O-
a combination. At the
Okay.
rate entity and at the rate table. Okay. So here
Okay.
you will be giving some employee 100, 200, whatever it is. Meaningful. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Now I was talking about giving the column names also. So in my model class, I am giving the name for columns also, so that
Mm.
the database columns would be coming out with new names, and I am importing this column attributes or annotation from Java X persistence. Okay,
Yes. Okay.
and here I can give, you can see over there, when I give column over there, there are
Mm.
many attributes with column. Okay,
Okay. Yes.
you can define the length of the column, you can define
Mm.
the name. Okay,
Okay.
So I'll make use of the name as of now. Name. And I'm giving a name. So I'll give first underscore name. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll give an annotation here, last name.
Yes.
Last name. Last underscore name. Okay.
Okay.
And if you observe over there, where I am giving the annotations in the declaration part of the properties in our module class. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
Now I am executing this. Okay.
Mm.
So I'll open my Hibernate test client and execute this. And what is my employee? 200 it is. Okay.
Mm.
Yes, insert into employee 200. Observe first underscore name, last
Yes.
underscore name, right?
Yeah, right.
And if you query this, you can see this. Okay. Got it?
Got it.
And employee 200 it is.
Mm.
Fine. Let me
Fine.
go back. Yes, I can give this annotation. I can give this annotation. Control X at the getter method also. So last name, last name, getter method also. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
And let me take this and get first name.
Yes.
Yes. Now I am re-executing this. So it is having impact with the properties itself. Properties itself.
Uh,
Properties itself. You can see here first name, last name, ID.
yeah.
And I'll just make a try when I use this with get first name, get first name. From getter method, I see. And from my get last name, I'm just appending this value. I'm
Okay.
just making a change to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I recreate this. And before that, if I fire this, okay,
Mm.
and it is first name, last name, okay,
Yeah. Okay.
and I go to Hibernate test client and re-execute this. Object save and yes. So there is nothing having impact.
Okay.
So this may be with the older version of Hibernate. It is what is that? We can do the annotation at getter method also.
Okay.
So this version is not supporting. So I'll just remove this, and go back to my what did I remove? First name and last name. First name. And right. Yes, I'll re-execute this test line. Yes, and you can see first name, last name, and the location of the annotations are at the declaration part, not at the getter methods. Okay. With the previous
Yeah.
versions of Hibernate, we used to give the annotation at the
Okay.
getter method also. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And you can see its first name, last name. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Now the thing is, yes, I have one more thing I would like to highlight.
Okay.
So with our employee HPM XML file, employee
On the first demo.
right first demo. Here you can give the table name, custom table name in this tab. So you can see table here.
Okay.
Okay. So here you can view the table also. It is I give EMP 100. Okay.
Okay.
And if I run my Hibernate test client of HP demo 1, okay,
Yes. Okay.
uh, HP demo 1, EMP 100, and the thing is, maybe with the primary key value there was a problem. And Hibernate test client HP demo 1, so 400 I was trying to insert, and maybe with, so you can see here, could not execute the batch update, the exception, and the reason is field employee ID does not have a default value.
Hmm.
Okay, I have to check my, let's check my Hibernate CFG, what it has. Oh, it is to update. So that is what it is giving trouble. It should be to a create, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
And I'll re-execute this, okay? My Hibernate test client.
Okay.
HP demo 1, HP demo 1.
Yes.
Yes, object save. And you can
Hmm.
see now the table name is EMP100, okay?
Okay.
I just thought of highlighting you that in our Hibernate XML file also we can give the name for the table by
Table. Yeah.
using the tag table, that is attribute.
Yes.
This one,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
And let me close this so that there will not be any confusion with the previous example, right?
Okay.
And my Hibernate config, this one, the older one, I closed it.
Hmm.
Okay, and this is my, yes, my current program. Yes, all right.
Okay.
So that's how we use annotations along with the model class name and model class properties, so that
Yes.
those annotations will create the separate table name that is different from model class, right?
Yes. Right.
And I have a task for you.
Okay.
And I with annotations, you can see those upgrade table ID column attributes are explained here.
Yeah.
You can refer to this,
Yes.
and there is a sample which talks about the usage of annotations in this. Okay,
Okay.
just for your reference, and I'll email you this word file also.
Okay.
And yes, I want you to work out on this sample. I'll explain you uh, how to perform this. and you can refer to this file and work out a sample. Okay.
Okay.
I have an index page, index.jsp. In this,
Yes.
you can see there is
The form.
name.
Mm.
There is a form with name, password, and email ID. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So when you click on submit button, it is going to register JSP.
Yeah.
So here, either you can go for register JSP or from here you go for a controller.
Yeah.
I am giving the hint here. So the controller would be for us the login controller.
Controller. Yeah.
Okay, login
Okay.
controller. And if you observe the things that are available with this, they are directly using a JSPO. Okay, and it is
Oh,
valid. We can use directly a JSP also in the action path.
yeah.
So if you use with this, what happens is it goes to register JSP. Okay.
Yeah.
And where do you create this index JSP? In which location in your project you create it?
Web.
In web content, right? You create.
Yeah.
You need to remember the path also where you generally create the resources. Okay.
Okay.
And the controller, where do you create?
Index.
So you
Self.
generally write.
Yeah. Package.
I want you to create in demos HB. Sorry,
Yes.
HB
Mm-hmm.
demos and create a package controller. Okay.
Yes.
In this you create. I am giving the hint. Okay.
Okay.
I'm explaining you the things that are present in the file as well as you can do that in an alternate way also. I'm giving you both the ways.
Yeah.
So here the alternate way is you go to controller, and
Yes.
the existing thing is if you go for register JSP, what happens in the register JSP, what
Mm.
happening is the register JSP is creating a bean for the model class. Okay.
Yes.
So the model class is user class. You can see here user class.
Yes.
And this user class you create in a package.
Mm-hmm.
You say the package name as DTO. DTO stands for data transfer object. Okay.
Okay.
So this user bean is nothing but the transfer object, right?
Right.
So you create a bean with the ID, name, password, email, and their address and setup. Okay.
Yes.
And this is required for the sample that is present in the Word file as well as the task which I am assigning to you. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Now, so what is happening with register JSP is a bean object is created and populated with the properties that are supplied by the user. You can see set
Mm.
property equals to star. That is all the properties are setting, right?
Yes.
And here they directly are making a call to user DAO dot register and passing this object.
Yes.
Got it?
Got it.
And they are displaying a success message. You are successfully registered. Okay.
Okay.
So meanwhile, what happens is in user DAO register method is there, right? What
Right.
this register method does is in user DAO register method, we got the user here,
Yeah.
and this register method is returning an integer value,
Mm-hmm.
and they declared int I equals to 0. Okay.
Okay.
In this method, you need to write those
Yes.
configuration, build session factory, open session, begin
Mhm.
transaction, then session dot save. Okay.
Okay.
All these things you will be writing in the DAO. In our
Yeah.
sample also you will be doing the same. Okay.
Okay.
And you can see the user object, whatever we are obtaining as an argument, that is being saved. Got it? Session.save.
Okay.
Previously, we used to initialize, right? We used to create an instance of user object, user model class, right?
Right.
Instead, we are obtaining it from a login page.
Okay. Yeah.
That is what only happens in web applications, right?
Right.
So I am asking you to do this application. So
Okay.
you are familiar with the servlet and login page already, and you are
Mhm.
already familiar with the Hibernate sample, right?
Right.
And you are already done with MVC sample using DAO, right?
Right.
So I want you to mix up all those things.
Okay.
And we need a Hibernate config file. In our
Yeah.
sample also we need it, right?
Right.
So I say we need this,
Or
right? And
right.
the Hibernate config file would be having driver URL, username, password, and a
Mm.
mapping resource.
Yes.
So either you go for mapping resource or mapping class. What is the
Class.
difference between mapping class and mapping resource?
On mapping class, we all will use the user being
User, right?
name.
User being user model class with annotations, right?
Yes.
And if it is a resource, then for your model class, you will be writing an
Yeah.
XML file, right? Hibernate
Mm.
mapping file.
Yes.
So you can see Hibernate mapping file. So Hibernate mapping for those properties, you need to give a primary key.
Okay.
So you are obtaining username, password, email only from the login page.
Yes.
But for your table, there should be a primary key.
Prime.
So give this class name, I mean to say, give this ID tag,
Mm.
and generator class would be increment. Just give
Okay.
increment, just give increment. This will automatically give the values for your ID tag. Okay.
Yes.
ID column also. A
Okay.
new column ID would be generated in your user table. ID,
Yes.
name, password, email. 4 columns would be.
Okay. Yes.
Fine, fine. Then I'm talking about so index.jsp, a login controller. So in your login controller, from your login controller, and
Mhm.
there will be an user DAO class for us
Mm.
also,
Mm.
and you create it in com dot
Buttress dot Java
java dot hp dot demos
dot
DAO.
com. Yeah. Mhm.
In DAO package, you create this DAO. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
In your controller, what you will do is in your controller, I'm going back to my controller, login controller, login controller. You need to have these things. What? So you
Yeah.
need to create an object for user DAO, right?
Yes.
So DAO equals to new user
You
DAO, right?
right. Yeah.
On this user DAO dot register method, okay?
Yeah.
Register method, and you need to have a bean, right?
Yes.
So that bean, so that bean, this bean. So before that, you need to get the bean details, right?
Yeah.
So how do we obtain that user? So I create a user bean.
Yeah.
So
The
user equals to new user, right? This one will do, right?
yes.
From this, you need to set that property, right?
Set
Set what? Name. Set
name.
name. And here, how do we set request
Press dot
get parameter and get that
name in the uh,
name. Right,
index. Yeah.
right. Same thing you need to do for the other three fields, right?
Yes. Right.
And this is small u actually.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So you perform this
Yeah.
this for passport, then email
Email.
also. And you got a bean object now.
Yeah.
That bean object you are passing to your register method. Got it?
Got it.
And your register method will be having your the register method in user DAO class would be having
Um.
the Hibernate related stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's completely clear, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. I want you to work out on this sample. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine then. I am
Fine.
going to close my session now,
Okay.
and we shall meet tomorrow, same time.
Okay.
I'll
Thank
email
you.
you these things, and I'm expecting you to finish this. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
And one more thing I want to highlight.
Okay.
I am trying to create a jar file for the project yesterday, which we worked out. And these jar files I am unable to share with you on Gmail. The thing is, jar files are executable jar files. So Gmail security reasons are preventing me to send you the jar file.
Okay.
So I'm just planning how to. If I send those individual files, will or else I'll copy this. So the thing is, two programs I have, right? Two programs I have. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
copy this and with you. Yes. So Java notes. I'll put this here, and you can see these are folders now.
Yes.
These are folders. Now I'll create a zip file for this.
Mm-hmm.
I got the zip file. Yes, I'll name it to HB demos. Okay. At your
Okay.
end, if you unzip it, you will get two folders, right?
Yes. Right.
You can import the folders also in your Eclipse.
Yes.
You are comfortable with importing WAR file, right?
Right.
I'll show you how to import a folder. Okay.
Okay.
I have a folder here, right? I'll
Right.
give a name to this. Maybe I will give a name sample HB. Okay.
Okay.
I am importing this. So once you download the zip file, you will get the two folders, right?
Right.
So you can import one by one. I am showing
Okay.
you how to import a folder into our project. Previously,
Okay.
we were able to import WAR file. So
Wi-Fi. Yeah.
same like we can import the jar file also. If I am sending you a jar file, but I am unable to send you jar file due to security
Oh.
reasons, email is preventing me.
Okay.
And do you know how to generate a jar file?
Yeah.
Similarly,
Yeah.
I'll show you.
In.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
core Java project, right? Previously,
Yes.
we used with Servlet JSP and it was a WAR file. Web
Wi-Fi.
application, it was a WAR file. When you work
Yes.
with core Java, it's a jar file. So
Jar
right click on the project and I'm showing you how to create a jar file for our core Java project.
project. Yeah.
Export, export to app client jar file. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Or you can go for jar file here, this one. App
Mm-hmm.
client jar file or this one. Okay.
Okay.
So I choose jar, next,
Mm.
and you can see here this project is highlighted that is present in my workspace. There are n
Yes.
number of projects. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
here you can see export Java source files also,
Yes.
and let the default be as it is. Don't make
Yeah.
any changes.
Yeah.
Next, and Next, and
Finish.
I need to finish. And where does it get stored? Just a minute. So you can see I have already, okay, I'll show you the path. I'll show you the path. So this is the path where you need to store it on your local machine. Okay.
Okay.
I already created, saved it, so it was taking the default path. Okay.
Okay.
So on my local machine somewhere in my D drive, I can give a name here. I have to give a name here. Hibernate example one, and you can see I already created a jar file previously.
Yeah. Already. Yeah.
So that is what it was asking. Do you want to override that? Okay.
Oh, okay.
I press cancel. You just have to give a name here and click on save button, right?
Right.
Then cancel. Then of course finally finish. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not doing this because I already done that. For you, I
Yeah.
just showed you the navigation how to
To create.
export your project to a jar file. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And the same jar file you can import like this. Right click on the project explorer, import. Import. So import, it is app client jar file for us. Okay.
Okay.
Next, and you have to choose from the location where you are importing from. Okay.
Yes.
You will be downloading that jar file which I am sending you on your local machine, and from
Yeah.
the downloaded location you select that and open it. Okay.
Okay.
And finish. Okay, got it on your machine.
Yes.
I am not doing this. Cancel. Okay.
Okay.
Now I am showing you how to import a file folder. Okay.
Okay.
I already have a folder which I copied and mentioned here, sample HB, right?
Right.
Now I am showing you how to import. So in your Eclipse, you will import existing file system. So existing, yes, file system. Okay. Here you can see file system.
Mm-hmm.
So which is present in
General.
general file system. Choose file system.
Okay.
Then click on next. Here choose the directory where the folder is available. For me, it is
Yeah.
available in my computer D drive. D drive, and there is new folder, and in this I have another folder. In this I have Java notes. In this I have sample. Okay,
Yes.
press OK. There are no resources currently selected, so you need to select this. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
and click on finish. Got it?
Got it.
So when you click on finish, the sample HB would be, so override the class path in folder HB demo1.
Yes.
So
Mm.
yes to all, so it is getting imported into my HB demo1. Let me, I'll say yes to all. So it is, I believe it is imported into my, yes, into HB demo1 it fell, and it has overwritten all those things. Let me make another try. So
Okay.
another try, importing file system. I said
Yeah.
uh, I have another option, existing projects to into workspace. Okay,
Okay.
I'm trying. I'm making a try with the existing projects into workspace.
Okay.
Next, and select the root directory. That is from my D, and from here it is, and from here Java nodes, and from here sample hyper. This one. Okay,
Okay.
press OK. some projects cannot be imported because they are already existing in. Okay, that is my sample HP is already existing in the previous one, so it was giving trouble. So I need to rename it. I'll say this sample HP1. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm going back and I'm doing it with import. I'm choosing existing projects into workspace, not the file system.
Yeah.
Next, same path, the new folder and Java notes. Sorry, Java notes, and here sample HB1. Okay,
Okay.
press OK. So some projects cannot be imported because they already exist in my workspace. So they are already available in my workspace, it says. Maybe it's considering the class path, those things, and it is showing me the same error. With you, it will work. Okay.
Okay.
So this you will be doing this and click on finish. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, if you want, you can copy that project into your workspace, or you can refer to the project from the same location on your local machine. I
Yeah.
better suggest you to copy the project into workspace. This one. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Then finally click on finish button. That would be enabled to you for sure.
Hmm.
You can try with file system and that existing file in both the ways. Definitely one would work among that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I am closing my session today, and we will meet tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Fine. Welcome.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Thank you, and you too.
Mhm.